At the moment we are in Slaughterplatz in the west side of Amsterdam. And we're hearing birds. Kind of very background sound of traffic. Ducks. A thump. Seagulls. An airplane. Construction sounds from the swimming pool. And a duck just landed in the water that is just right next to us. And someone speaking from one of the semi-islands. I think they're gonna swim. I think what is interesting about this place, it's really like a threshold place. It is really like a city, but we're quite close to the end of the city. It's nature, but also not fully nature. It's urban and it's water, but not water. We call it a semi-island. For me at the moment, this place is just potential. Because we didn't really grow anything here, but we hope that things will grow here. But the first year is always to see the ground. This place is really for siblings. That is a collective. So I try to remove my individual research from it. It's of course common ground because they are both related to ecology and earth and nature. And I think the underlying aim is really similar to not to make art about nature, but with nature, because I think we generally have this problem of representation where we read a lot theory and we think about nature a lot, but none of us actually have the direct experience of how things actually work. It's almost as if indeed we skipped a generation and it's our generation. So the underlying aim is to really have this direct experience of observation, learning by doing rather than theory. For Siblings is a collective of 3 people and a larger community, and we find these unused plots of land since 2020. We started just before the pandemic, and then because everything was outdoors, we managed to actually do things during the pandemic, which was really kind of life-saving in a way. And then so we try to get this experience of growing food, watching things grow with direct experience and not just with theory. And it's a larger cultural project. There are reading groups, artistic presentations, performances, commissions. So we try to work together with the community at large, and I think the most meaningful way to describe it is an outdoor project space. So we don't have walls, and the nice thing about this place is that we have electricity and water, because before the last 3 years we were really in the middle of nowhere, where we had to carry jugs of water and kind of rarely but use a generator for electricity. So now we are more towards established structural civilization. This is also what is different about this place. And this is our first year here, so we really will get to know the land and see what grows and kind of already see what grows where, what doesn't, what kind of soil, what does it need. So my research, that's personal, about salt. And that was really how salinization is affecting indeed very similar topics such as food sovereignty, agriculture, what grows where. So I research plants that grow in salty soil. And Then I talked to farmers, especially in Texel, for example. That's a piece of land in the north of the Netherlands where there's a lot of salinization. And this is a direct consequence of the sea levels rising, so the seawater slowly seeping in the Netherlands. And Netherlands is an extremely interesting place for this phenomena because it's literally constructed on a delta, and the water management can literally transform such large pieces of water from salty water to sweet water as they wish. They really have control over this. For example, Afsluitdijk splits sweet water and salty water, and they are completely different ecologies. And I observed how sweet water and salty water create different kinds of food, different kinds of plants, different kinds of animals. And the final outcome was a booklet of real and imaginary plants that like salt and appreciate salt, and they grow in saline environments, which was very interesting. Yeah. So actually, it is a really good idea to test this water in the beginning if there's any salinization at all, because in some months we might actually use this water to water the soil, because that's what we were doing in the previous land. We were using the ditches and the dikes nearby, but there we knew that it was sweet water. But because this is a really large body of water and it is notoriously polluted, as you might know, there are moments in the summer, I repeat, we're in Slaughterplas, and there's an artificial beach nearby. But if you live in the neighborhood during the summer months, you literally get an SMS that says no swim. There's E. coli bacteria in this water, and it is notoriously polluted, especially in the warmer months when there's really no circulation, maximum amounts of evaporation, and then this water is and I always indeed get they didn't swim, or maybe they had finished. I always get impressed by people who swim here, because with this reputation it takes a lot of courage to swim here, I think. Yeah, there are different approaches, I think, when you approach the water. First of all, it's important to say water is really the element that I identify with the most. I really consider myself a mere person, a mere human. It's really I think it's been almost 15 years that I make works that are of water, about water, related to water. It's been quite a long time that I had been just trying to understand this mysterious substance that we are all made of. And I think somehow when you make this kind of projects, it becomes very pragmatic. For example, here, I think our approach to water is can we use this? Sometimes we have this approach towards plants. It's really the perspective of a dog almost. Can I eat this? Is this edible? Is this toxic? Is this healthy? We have this really basis human perspective of understanding. But the most meaningful way that I can explain it is really like a person. Then in the end, that's how I perceive water, like one body in the whole world. I have a really overall global understanding of water as one body. So then it's really like meeting a person. This is a bit the maybe very animistic approach that I have towards water in here. I think more than climate change, I'm worried about pollution, human pollution, chemical pollution, nuclear pollution, because I do believe that the Earth has the resilient system to handle the heat. I do believe that water is a closed system, so then it has a ability to renovate itself no matter what's even if I don't know, speculating on boiling temperatures. But I do worry more than just from the perspective of the water, for the sake of water itself, more about pollution, chemical pollution and PFAS. These are really more damaging than the heat per se. But then you can see how, from the human perspective, as a consequence of the climate change, then the water will be a problem for us. because the major problem is now what we're having is too much water, too little water, because the water has lost its balance from human perspective again, because nature doesn't care if there's a flood, if it doesn't rain too much. Some things die, some things get born. That really are more human consequences. But in this moment, we're in the middle of a drought. It didn't almost rain potentially decently for 2 months in the Netherlands, and that's unheard of. That's really statistically never happened. And then what's happening right now, then in the south and in Italy, is too much water. So they're flooded. Salinization is a problem of the humans. Nature loves salt. Salt was here before you, before me. Salty water is older than sweet water. So therefore, salty water actually has more biodiversity, more animals and more plants than sweet water, which actually is more subject to pollution and is more vulnerable. So this is a bit my perspective. A lot of things we're doing are still perceiving climate change. I think there are two different channels: climate change from nature's perspective and climate change from human perspective.